round thing in your face, you get sprung.
Thanks so much for coming with us today. Nope.
Actually, you don't need to yell because you're mic'd up.
She's like this around me all the time.
Barely.
We can't get it together.
We are at a staged home by Kat's company, Copeland & Co. And we are going to talk about tips when you're selling your home, what to do, what not to do.
Why it's important to stage your home prior to selling it. Oh my God, that's so good. Is that real?
Oh, hi.
Hi, Kat.
Hi. Tell us about you, our favorite
stager extraordinaire. I know, right?
What do you want to know?
Well, why is it important to stage your home? Can you start from like ground zero when people are gun shy of maybe the price point?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many different reasons. I think the biggest one is that you really want to showcase, you really want to highlight the great things about the home and sort of downplay some of the not so great things, which is super helpful. And then also you want furniture in a house because you're gonna get people in the door. If you're looking at a photo online and you just see an empty space, you have no idea how large the room is, what the scale is. So if you can decorate it, people kind of get an idea of what's going on in the house.
Yeah, because it's difficult for most people to see a space and visualize what the layout can be, how you can use that space. And staging with things that look beautiful working together, just give them an idea like, oh my gosh, my house could look like this.
Yeah, we could set it up like this. I love how they laid out the furniture, so yeah.
And I think one of the tricks that we do really well, because I've staged many homes with you, is you use minimal amount of pieces to make the room look larger and to also allow flow of traffic. Yep. So it's one of the tricks you guys do really well, right?
Mm-hmm. Floating furniture, kind of bringing it off the walls, you know, not just like lining furniture around the room. That makes it feel larger. You have some nice flow.
What are the 3 things that you would say are the most important of why you'd stage a house? 3 things.
All right. So the first thing is you want really beautiful pictures in the listing online.
Yes.
That's what attracts people to get through the door, to do a walkthrough. The second thing is that you're adding perceived value.
Yes.
We bring in pieces that look really nice, whether or not they're expensive. They sort of are selling the lifestyle of what this house could provide. The third thing is that staged homes spend a lot less time on the market.
To realtors, to homeowners, you do not want your home listed for a long period of time, and when it's staged, it shortens that time frame.
Make a move.
Yep.
So Kat, you have such a gift in staging homes and making them look beautiful and knowing how to curate a vintage piece with a new sofa. How much do your services cost? You're obviously so talented. You know, as a homeowner, I probably don't have a lot of money to spend on selling my home. I want to get the money from the house. So
what should people expect?
Look like?
Yeah.
Our price ranges anywhere from about $2,000 for the first month all the way up to $7,000, $8,000 depending on how large the listing is. And then after that first month, if for some reason the home is still staged, then we go down to just a monthly rental fee.
You're getting the money in return because you're going to drive more traffic into the space. It's well designed, so people are going to be excited to see the home. So they're hopefully going to sell the house faster.
Well, and the real issue is you guys, if you don't sell your house quickly, shortly thereafter, there's a price reduction. So you really want to invest in the staging, which is going to be far less than the price reduction that usually happens for a home that's been on the market for quite a long time. So I don't think we've ever sold a home that we have not staged and invested in the staging because it helps the project so much.
Kat, what would you say is your value proposition? Like, why hire Copeland & Co. versus another company here in town?
There are a lot of really talented companies. I think the difference for us is that we do totally custom home staging. So we come into a house like this, which has sort of this Palm Springs vibe, mid-century. And so we really wanted to highlight that with mid-century vintage pieces, a little high-low because it's not, you know, super luxurious listing. If we're staging a historic craftsman or a Victorian, we really try to tailor all of our inventory, everything that we put into that house to honor the history of the home.
Yeah, you guys do a really good job of that. Oh my gosh.
Love you too.
So you can learn a lot from professional stagers, and there's some things to keep in mind when you're trying to clean up your space and getting ready to sell your home.
One is decluttering, making sure that you remove anything unnecessary from the space.
They did a good job here. Imagine if this was your home, you don't want to see any personal frames, books, coasters, anything. Get it all off to make the side table and the space look borderline empty, because in their eye and in their mind, they can then picture themselves there and it looks bigger. at your bed at home, you have tons of throws and pillows. Try to cut it in half. Put 2 accent pillows and maybe 1 throw. Another thing you can think about is if you have a large bench and another lamp in your house or other furniture that serves you while you're living in the home, get rid of it. Reduce it as much as possible so the room looks bigger.
Think about if you had a family photo here, it'd be hard to imagine another family living here. So grab a picture that gives a neutral story that people can relate to and not feel like it's somebody else's space. The other thing to remember is remove the personalization. Don't have family photos, like Teal said. Take them out of the room, make it boring.
Yeah, make it clean. So Kat, what do you think about when you're staging a neutral kitchen?
In any kitchen, I would say, just trying to keep the countertops pretty clear so that when you walk in here, you know you have a ton of prep space. If you like to cook, we try to keep it really minimal, not put too many tchotchkes in there. Again, just so you can kind of imagine your own stuff. Your pieces in
yeah.
here. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you are staging, you try to go really with a neutral palette because it's also your and my aesthetic, but you also want to, you know, some people might not like the color red or some people might not like purple. So you just try to stage in a neutral palette. So if you're staging your own home or cleaning up your kitchen or space, think about all the colors, like any art that you might have that's super vibrant. You might want to remove it and just literally, it's not like you're trying to make it boring per se, but you're just trying to really clean it up and make it neutral and just minimalist.
Think whites, creams, grays, something where people can imagine their own expression in that space.
What do you think about paint? Is it realistic for people to be repainting spaces, prepping to stage or sell?
I do. I think it's nice, like you were saying, to provide a really neutral palette so people can sort of imagine their style in the home. I also think that certain colors can be really polarizing. And even though paint isn't that expensive, it's a pretty cheap update to do in that, you know, when you're getting your house ready to sell, it's one of those things that people get stuck on and they're like, oh shoot, we're really gonna have to paint, and then it can kill the deal for them.
Yeah.
Everybody appreciates walking into a well-designed home with lots of color, lots of pattern, interesting elements. But when they're walking into a space that they're looking to purchase, again, like they really want to make sure that they can feel it. So you strip it down, make it more neutral, remove all the clutter, and let the buyers imagine themselves in that space.
One thing about staging your home and getting ready to sell is curb appeal. So anything that you can do as people first drive up, first impressions are real. I've sold a lot of homes over the years, and if you can make sure that you even put lipstick on a pig with your mulch covering the weeds, or if you can rip out the, you know, sad and saggy tree, you're gonna be, oh my God, I love that tree. You know what? Remove what you can, cover with mulch, get your yard, you know, looking fresh as much as you can without investing a ton in landscaping. Landscaping and maintenance is expensive, so you have to pick and choose. It's maybe not realistic to lay all new sod, but it is realistic to get a couple bags of mulch and clean up, especially your entryway, and paint as well. If your door has been used and it's been kicked in and you've got some chip marks around your front door, either on the interior or the exterior, spend the money to repaint it. There's 2 areas that I use crazy paint and I take chances because I'm very neutral. It's usually the exterior of the front door and the interior walls of the powder. Because then after they leave their house, after they've seen like all these houses, she's like, oh honey, remember that poppy colored bathroom? You know, I loved that one. Or remember the one with the really cool smoky green door? That is things that people, that's a low, you know, low impact for paint, but it's a high impact for remembering the spaces.
The jangle. The jangle.
And the jingle jangle.
Okay.
Tell us about some staging mishaps. Like, what have you seen that did not work well?
Some absolute fails. When people push all of their furniture completely
against the walls, it
and
drives
like
me nuts.
It's like being in a bazaar. It's just a horrible way to live.
Well, we always say hug the rug, and you're essentially saying the same thing. Like, pull your furniture off and make sure it's on the rug.
If you have enough space where you can bring your furniture in enough that you could actually walk around behind all of the furniture and at least get the front legs of every piece onto the rug, you're in a good position.
Pulling it away from the wall, does that mean like 2 feet or 3 feet? It really means like just about 6 inches, so it just feels airier. Again, it gives the perception of like there's space and there's flow.
Yeah, it's 6 inches or more. It could be multiple feet, but you just want to pull it off the wall.
Yep, we've seen a lot, just like people leaving things up that they love, that they're the only people in the world that love that thing.
Like something they found in a
they
different
like
country
got
when
it
traveling.
totally.
piece of art that's not that attractive.
Something that we haven't talked about is the real estate agents. Real estate agents, obviously you get your real estate agents through usually referrals and friends, and you should have a good experience with them, and if you don't, give them the heave-ho. But assuming that you have a great relationship with your real estate agent, 9 times out of 10, they are going to suggest that you hire a stager because they know that it will look better, photograph better, and be on the market for a shorter amount of time. When your real estate agent says to you, like, I think we should stage your home, the answer should be yes for those reasons. So staging, funny enough, really happens earlier on before you come into play, and that is the relationship between the homeowner and the agent. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you learned something about why it's important to stage your home.
Please like, subscribe, share, comment, all the things. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to be
Just literally screaming. Like,
It's the wheezy. Now we're gonna be crying.